Coming up, I will reveal the dangerous sign that our country is in decline. And then more employees than ever are checked out. Productivity is down. We'll look at the reasons why and what that means for us. Let's go. All right, this is the Ken Coleman Show, where I help you get out of the matrix so you can be free to live and work the way you want to live and work. All right, so I'm trying to figure out where I want to start here because I could do an hour-long show on this. Alex, I just looked down at my notes and I was like, you could book an airplane hangar and truck in 10,000 people and I wouldn't be satisfied. I want this message out there, so here we go. There are times where we have to be okay sharing the truth, even when it's kind of scary. And this is one of those days. I see it everywhere now. I'm not going to list it all out. I'm just going to tell you this dangerous sign that America is in decline is that we are so stinking scared. And I think, honestly, this is worldwide, but I'm doing this in the American context, but this is a worldwide problem. We have a global pandemic of fear, worry, anxiety. I think in some ways we are in danger of using the word anxiety so much that it turns into the next bullying. Like when someone's mean to you, it's bullying. No, it's not. Just because you're scared doesn't mean you have anxiety. Anxiety is real. I don't question the validity of the clinical diagnosis and how it can have profound effects on people. And everybody has different levels of it. But just because you're having a moment where you're a little scared, I got news for you, Snowflake. You aren't dealing with anxiety. But we are a scared society. All we do is think about protecting ourselves. And what's gotten lost in this is that we don't think about improving ourselves. How in the world could you possibly think about improving yourself when all you're doing is protecting yourself? I mean, the very idea of the two words is so spread out on the spectrum. If I'm improving on myself, I'm moving forward mentally, emotionally, physically at times. I'm in the act of improving. If I'm protecting myself, I'm in the very act of retreating. I cower, I shield, I hide. That's protectionary. If I'm improving, I'm learning, I'm doing, I'm trying. And now you've got this knee-jerk reaction to all this fear, which is I'm trying to get as comfortable as possible. Safe. Now the new, it used to be about success. Now it's about safe, comfortable. See, because success, that's not given to you. Comfort, that's given to you. You want to know why people clamor for the tenets of socialism, where universal income, these ideas come from socialism? This is not a political show. Don't get offended. Be provoked. I'm okay to provoke you. I want to provoke you to think, to challenge me. Go do your own research. Consider what I'm saying at the very least. Universal income is a socialist idea. And it's widely accepted by people who feel like they have no shot at their own success. So then they go, well, if I can't create my own success, I need to be comfortable. I need to be safe. And so I rely on the government to do that for me. Then there's all kind of distorted views of this. The FIRE movement is so popular among a lot of young people. These live in the threads of Reddit and other social media platforms. What is FIRE? Financially independent, retire early. Sounds really noble. Sounds really awesome until you realize it's soulless. What does it mean? It means they work like crazy. No balance at all. Just working themselves to the bone to try to be able to amass enough money so they don't enjoy life. They don't live life. They're just working. Saving. But no living. And the goal is to be in their 40s and walk away. Now, they'll have the money, but they won't have much experience to rely on other than work. And then they're going to find out that they still need to work, to do something positive, proactive, to give a contribution to the world. Their soul will slowly seep out of their body if they don't. Then you got the anti-work movement, which is on the other side. The anti-work movement is, I think it's so wrong for me as a human being to have to work this many hours a day and not be around my family and my dog and my kitty cat. This is real. So you have these kind of knee-jerk emotional reactions to the fear in this world. The fear, let me go back and make sure you're catching all this. You go, how does fear lead to anti-work? I'm going to explain it. When I am fearful, I am all about protection and comfort. I'm not about the discomfort of facing hard things, dealing with failure, moving beyond failure. It's all about, when I'm fearful all the time, my entire default mode is just about protection. Now, if you go back to the dawn of man, this is why our brains are the way they are. Not to mention, our creator gave us this beautiful computer called the amygdala in the back of our brain that allows us to respond to danger. And so that's a normal function, but it's gotten out of whack. We're like a zoo animal. See, we were designed to create, to go do, to adventure, to do things, to explore, to achieve. It's why our heart longs for success and longs for contribution. That's the way we're wired. But now we've become scared, comfortable people, like a wild animal they pull out of the Sahara and put it in a zoo for most of its life. Still a wild animal. The instincts are still there, but they're dulled. You know why? Because it hadn't had to hunt for food anymore. It wakes up every day, poops in the same basic area, eats at the same time, doesn't chase anything, doesn't get chased. It's just lost its wild instinct. That's us that are living fearfully. So what's the solution? I think there's two things. It's very simple. Think critically, act differently. What do I mean by think critically? When you hear all these messages of fear and worry and, oh, be safe, do this, why don't you critically break it down? Are the experts right? Is the research right? Or is this marketing jargon? And then act differently. How about instead of being safe, why don't we dare? Instead of going for average, why don't we pursue great? You get out of the matrix if you do.
Do you know what you were born to do? In order to get hired at a job you love, you need to get clear on your talent, passion, and mission. That's why our team created the Career Clarity Guide. In just a few minutes, this free tool will walk you through a process to discover what you do best, that's your talent, the work you love to do, that's your passion, and the results that matter to you, your mission. Then you'll feel more confident throughout the job search process. To get started, go to kencoleman.com/clarity.
All right, folks, if you're enjoying the program, it's adding value to you, and you think it might help somebody else, would you help us in two ways? If you watch on YouTube, would you subscribe to the channel and then share a highlight or an episode? And if you're listening via your favorite podcast app, would you give us a follow and a 5-star review? That would be great. Also, we still got 3 more events coming your way. Coming out on the road solo, folks. And I just want you folks who are listening and watching this program, if you need to be there, you need that extra push. I'll be speaking on the formula for living and acting courageously. This has obviously professional and personal implications and financial. And then I'll be taking questions live in the crowd. This is an event for you, for your friends, your family, who just aren't where they want to be in their life. Does it have job and career aspects? Yes. Does it help you win more financially? Yes. Is it good for you personally and relationally? Yes. That's what we're doing. So we've got 3 more events to go. Chicago, May 16th. Atlanta, Georgia, May 18th. Dallas, Texas, May 23rd. KenColeman.com/events. KenColeman.com/events. Get your ticket today. All right. Well, my friends at Gallup, they do such good work. And they got some more data out. Employee engagement, in other words, productivity, is decreasing. This is a real problem, folks. This is not something, this is just not another piece of data. This is scary stuff. Employee engagement dropped to 32%, meaning only 32% of American workers are truly engaged in their work. It dropped from 34%, so 2 percentage points from the last report in 2021. Active disengagement, that's this quiet quitting crap, and what's the new Monday one? Bare minimum Monday. I mean, these people are so in love with average, they like coming up with names for it. And Americans are reporting higher levels of dissatisfaction and malaise at work. Now, malaise, gosh, what a good word. This is how I define malaise for our viewing audience. For our listening audience, you got the picture. It's just me looking at the camera, slowly moving my hand across my body. Malaise. I'm in a stupor. I'm zoned out, baby. That's malaise. Organizational satisfaction, clarity of expectations, opportunities to do what you do best, and a connection to the mission of the organization declined substantially. Now, when I list that out, you need to understand that this is a leadership problem. See, leaders are responsible for organizational satisfaction, for clarity of expectations, to put people in opportunities to win, to make sure that they see a connection to the story of the organization. When those, just one of those is not up to par, organizational satisfaction, clarity of expectation, opportunity to do what you do best, feeling connected to the organization's mission. With just one of those not being checked, people start to feel a slight bit of, something's off. 2 or more, it's only a matter of time. I think it's that simple. I think it's such a quick unplug, and you got to be aware of it. This disengagement was highest among younger workers. This would be millennial and Gen Z workers under the age of 35. That was your highest number. I'll explain that in just a moment. Women were another group that it was high among, and then people in remote-ready jobs who are currently working fully on site. All right, so you have 3 different groups here that the disengagement is hitting the highest. Okay, let's talk younger workers under age 35. Let me tell you something. If they don't feel connected to the mission and they don't feel connected to you, the leader, more on that in just a moment, this younger generation, I'm going to tell you right now, their eyes are scanning for the next gig. They need to feel connected to a bigger story, and they need a connection with you, the leader. More on that in a second. Women, a whole different ballgame here. See, women are just deeper than men. They just have a deeper emotional connection to everything. I believe that's a positive. I can imagine somebody insulting me or getting mad about that. I can't possibly understand how, but I'll go ahead and say, okay, it's all right. I just offended you. I just think women have a deeper emotional awareness They connect deeper to things than men. That's a negative about men. It's a positive about women. And as a result, you put a woman in a role where she doesn't know what the mission is about. Forget it. Women are ultimate mission finders and completers. You put a woman in a situation where the organization isn't run well, she's going to go, what's going on here? I expect this when I got a room full of toddlers. We're supposed to be professionals here. Wipe your mouth. Sit up straight. Come on. So you get the deal. My friend Gallup CEO John Clifton wrote of this study, improving life at work isn't rocket science, but the world is closer to colonizing Mars than it is to fixing the world's broken workplaces. He's right, and this is so sad. The real fix is this simple, he went on to write. Better leaders in the workplace. Great leaders help colleagues learn and grow, recognize their colleagues for doing great work, and make them feel cared about. And he's absolutely right. Let's go deeper. If there was just one thing that leaders could begin to do on a daily basis, just one of the myriad of things they've got to do to help meet people's needs at work, one of them is just recognition. It doesn't have to be a long sit-down, knee-to-knee conversation telling them 21 things they did great. Now, there are some snowflakes in every generation, and so this is not just, a millennial Gen Z thing. Some people need a whole lot more stroking than others, but I'm not talking about that. I'm talking just recognizing them in the form of a one-on-one saying, hey, I see what you're doing. You're doing a great job. You're improving here. You got a good headspace on this. Your attitude was great here. You pivoted here. Boy, you stepped up the other day and did this for a customer. That kind of thing. In other words, catch them doing something right on a regular basis. And then recognize them in front of their peers, their coworkers. Hey, everybody gather around. I want to call attention to, this is huge. Now, I think we all understand that, but there's some science behind this. When those two examples take place that I just gave you, there's a chemical reaction. The brain has an area called the hypothalamus, and that part of the brain is triggered and it produces dopamine, the same chemical that's released when a person exercises or laughs. Dopamine is the chemical that gives us satisfaction. It's also the chemical that motivates us. Ooh, I want more of that. You want to know why your kid's addicted to his phone? Dopamine. You want to know why TikTok and all of these Instagrams and all the world's snaps and all the stuff, whatever it is. They've figured out the algorithm that keep giving our brain what we want. Ooh, I'm satisfied. Oh, because I'm satisfied, I want to do more of this. It's the magic of dopamine. So it comes down to basic psychology. Leaders. If people feel loved, if people feel safe, they're going to be happy. And that produces dopamine. And they're going to want to keep coming back. You say, well, I can't walk around recognizing people all the time. Yeah, you can. Yeah, you can. I would simplify leadership. I'm oversimplifying here, but the point will be made. I'd simplify leadership to just hire the right people to do the job, train them, get them the right stuff, and then spend the rest of your time telling them how great they're doing, if they're actually doing good. Oh, leadership is so hard. Yeah, it can be because of people, but it's pretty simple.
Are you wondering if you should leave your current job or stay put? You're not alone. That's why we created the Should I Quit My Job quiz. In just 5 minutes or less, this quiz will help you determine if you're at the right company and if you're in the right role. If you need to make a move, you'll even get practical next steps to keep you moving forward. Listen, stuck is a choice, and life is too short not to do what you were created to do. To take the quiz, go to kencoleman.com/quiz.
All right, folks, welcome back to the Ken Coleman Show. Well, we've got a term that's popping back up. I've seen this one before. I got all these work terms, and, we just as humans can't help ourselves. We have to come up with a new way to say the same old thing, right? So that's why doubt got replaced by imposter syndrome. Got to have a syndrome. By the way, this is what I'm talking about. This is what I'm talking about. Can I revisit the start of the show, Alex? Will you allow me to do that? He's very generous. Imposter syndrome scares the crap out of you. Just the very phrase. Do you have imposter syndrome? Who? My goodness. Here's another one. This term. Toxic positivity. That's scary too. Well, for crying out loud, man, what is it? Is it positive or is it toxic? I'm confused, man. And that's what's going on. Toxic positivity. What a bunch of crap. Can we stop saying stuff like this? This makes me dumber every time I say it. Let me see if I can actually feel this one. What is toxic positivity and how is it bad for your workplace? Yeah, I do. I feel dumber. I actually feel dumber now. You should feel dumber because I'm treating you like you're dumb when I say stupid things like this. Toxic positivity. What is it? What are they trying to say it is? I'll tell you what it is. It's stuffing. It's acting like everything's great when it's not. It's delusion. Forced, learned detachment from reality. Now, how's that for a definition? So, there ain't nothing positive about this. So, what are we doing here? Well, we're thinking too hard. Let's talk about stuffing. And this is in a work context. 68% of respondents said they'd experienced toxic positivity from someone in the previous weeks. Well, I don't even know what the crap toxic positivity is. These people had to poll them and tell them what it was and say, did this happen to you in the last 2 or 3 weeks? And they're like, well, if it'll get me off the phone call faster, yeah. This is garbage. I love data, but I'm going to tell you something, Alex. This isn't worth the paper it's printed on. Now, the way I defined it, this happens. All right, let's talk about the stuffing and acting. This happens a lot with leaders, and this is a leadership problem right here. All right, and so something bad is happening, something in the office has happened, could be of a personal nature between employees, could be something that happened in the course of the business, but there's a big failure or there's a blow up, let's call it that, just for example purposes, right? And they never fully address it, and then they forget it quickly. So there's two offenses there by leaders. They don't ever really fully deal with it and address it, and then they forget about it and act like nothing happened, or they put some positive spin on it when they are slightly addressing it. This is happening a lot in offices. This is horrible leadership because everybody knows that it's not good, and you're acting like it, and it's a big deal, and you're acting like it's not a big deal. Or you're acting like it's, a small thing when it's kind of a thing. It's not huge, but it's kind of a thing, right? It's that kind of thing. So it's just not, it's a detachment from common sense. And what they're doing is they're just trying to stuff it, and then they're trying to act like not a big deal. So that's one side of it. The other side is a deeper psychological, mental thing. And see, the first example I just gave you is it's just poor leadership. Leaders who don't want to deal with confrontation. This other one is a little bit deeper. There's something going on that we need to get a therapist on, because this person is literally detached from reality. They've got some type of blocker where reality hits them. They process it really quickly. And then they've got this unbelievable sickness going on, and it's a sickness coming from past pain. And it's like a protectionary filter that they run reality through. And then it comes out and they just act like nothing ever happened at all. It's like this total character. I tell you what's coming to mind is the movie Stepford Wives. This emotionless, just kind of a robot. They're just devoid of emotion, devoid of the reality that would cause any kind of emotion. And we're just going to kind of like, hey, everything's great. Hey, and it's just this Magoo kind of a, fake character. It's just so detached. And it's a defense mechanism. It's a filter. And when coworkers do it, it's annoying. When leaders engage in this, it's devastating. It's devastating. How? Well, first of all, in maybe the most damaging act, when a leader just kind of puts a fake positive spin on something that has nothing positive, all this fake positivity, it's all it is. It's not toxic positivity, it's just fake. It's acting. First thing it does is it takes the feelings of the team and it dismisses them. They're frustrated, they're scared, they're angry, you pick the emotion. And when the leader just kind of puts some fake positive thing on it, first thing it does is it triggers the feeling of being dismissed. I'm feeling this, and you just completely dismissed it with a bunch of positive gobbledygook. You're dismissing my feelings, and this is where it gets nasty. You're dismissing me. Well, then you got people who just want to survive, and so they pick up the cues of the leader. So this is the law of mirroring, right? So they just kind of say, well, this is what the leader's going to do, so we're all going to do it. So what happens? The entire office takes on that posture, and it becomes an office where nobody ever talks about anything negative. We don't air our dirty laundry. We don't deal with problems. We just try to put a positive spin on it. We're all walking around, and it's a clown show. We're all wearing those creepy clown masks with those smiles. Right? Well, then what happens when you're walking around like clowns all the time? People start getting pissed. Think about it. Or we're just going to act like nothing's up, and people start going, well, wait a second. Now I'm angry. I disrespect you. And that's when it all blows up. People won't stick around for that. Certainly not your Eagles, not your Stars. So if you're in an office culture like this, where this fake over, this just awful version of optimism where they've ruined optimism. Optimism is, you know what? It sucks, man. Today was a bad day. But you know what? I'm going to learn from it. I'm going to pick myself up, get back up on the horse tomorrow, and we'll grow from this. We'll learn. There's better days ahead. Now, see, that's optimism. See, optimism is not something that's absence of negative things. It's just a perspective in light of whatever the reality is that, hey, you know what? We're going to make the best of it. Well, this kind of stuff, this is unhealthy. And the irony is, in trying to sweep all the stuff under the rug and act like everything's great, it's going to end up causing a bigger problem. This is about avoidance. This is about pain, past pain, that shapes people to do this kind of stuff. So if you're in a culture like this and you're not in a leadership position to where you could truly influence it, you better start looking for the door. You better start looking for the door, because this is going to end up triggering you. This fakeness, boy, it eats at us. Boy, it is. Now that all that fakeness does create a toxic attitude from everybody else that's affected by it. So run from this. You don't want to be a part of this.
Did you know that recruiters take an average of 6 seconds to scan a resume? And that's if they ever see it in the first place. In fact, 75% of resumes are rejected before reaching a hiring manager. Listen, folks, if you want to get hired, you've got to make your resume worth noticing. That's why we created How to Write the Perfect Resume. This free guide will walk you through the 5 steps to stand out in the hiring process to get you your dream job. If you want to get started, go to kencoleman.com/resume.
All right, welcome back to the Ken Coleman Show. It's time to coach some people up. If you want to get coached up on the show, you certainly can. You can email us, ask@kencoleman.com, or you can call and leave a voicemail, and we'll get you on the program, 844-747-2577. Let's go to Stratford, Connecticut, where Grant joins us. Grant, you're on the Ken Coleman Show.
Hey, Ken. How's it going?
I'm living the dream, buddy. What's up?
That's great to talk to you, Ken. That's good to hear. I got kind of an interesting question for you, a dilemma I'm in.
Okay.
I was wondering if you have any advice on how do I approach my boss and ask for the possibility to work remote, as I'll be moving across the country to another state at the end of May. So I plan on moving no matter what. That's always been a long-term plan of mine. Being in Connecticut has always been sort of a temporary plan for after college. My job right now, I'd love to keep. It's currently a hybrid schedule. It's 2 days remote, 3 days in the office from my department. About 15 people in my department. I've been there for about over 7 months. The company's rapidly growing. There's probably been about over 100 people hired after me. And I would say about half of the other departments work fully remote permanently.
Well, that's the good news. So the good news is you've got precedent. What are the challenges if you move to another state and you stay in your current job? What are the challenges that you will have to overcome based on your current hybrid schedule?
Right. So the main challenge I have is there's actually no one in my specific department who reports to my boss who works fully remote. There's other departments that have other directors that are remote, but I would be the first one sort of setting a precedent.
Okay. And so what would be the work challenges to that?
Yeah. I mean, honestly, personally, I don't see many challenges. We already do work remote hybridly, and a lot of times we're in the office. A lot of these meetings are over Teams.
Because you said your boss is remote.
No. My boss is hybrid with us.
Oh, your boss is hybrid with you. I see. Yeah. So here's the deal. I'm coming at this because it doesn't sound like there's a lot of challenges. I would go in and go, hey, I've thought through any of the challenges associated with this. I think I have. Are there any other challenges that I'm missing? And what you want to do is, instead of asking for something, you want to go, hey, I've thought through this. I'm moving. This is a life decision. But I really like this company. I like this job. And I'm wondering if you feel like that there would be limited to no challenges by me working remote in another state. Okay. And I'd like to know if you think I'm valuable enough to obviously make an asterisk kind of situation happen here. I think it's just that simple.
Okay. I think I could honestly follow through on that last part, that I can be that asterisk, because we recently had performance review meetings 2 weeks ago. You know, my boss actually gave me a 5 out of 5 instead of setting the standard for the department.
Nice.
And personally, I think I'm taking on the workload of about 3 to 4 people.
Great.
And there's also the potential for raises coming here April 1st.
Good.
And I mean, it's looking promising on my end. I've been taking more and more responsibility. It seems like every other week.
Yeah.
So I really do feel like I could.
I think here's the deal. Sit down before you talk to him and come up with any objections you think he might have. I mean, rack your brain. And have to the best of your ability. It's not that you have to counterpoint, but be thinking about what objections would he have, and how you can help him overcome his own objections. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
That's the game. That's the game we're playing here. He likes you. Okay. You got a 5 for 5. They've already got a hybrid environment. They have some people that are fully remote, so it's not like it's out of left field. So I feel good about that. Now it's just, hey, I hate to spring this on you. We knew we were going to eventually move over here, and now's the right time. But gosh, I want to work here. And just say, here's what I've been thinking through. Are there some other objections that you might have? See what he says.
Okay.
Yeah.
That sounds like you plan to me.
Yeah. You're not going in and forcing anything. You're not forcing it. You're just going in and going, what do you think?
Okay.
What's your big concern?
Right.
I got 30 seconds.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, my concern would be that I'd be the first person to do it in my department. I'd have to really be that asterisk for it to happen.
Yeah, but that's in your department.
Mm-hmm.
It's not the first in the company. So it's going to come down to what they think of you and what they think about the boundaries they've set for that team. And if they feel like they can make an exception, they will. If they don't think they can make an exception, they won't. And you're going to be okay there too. Hope it works out, Grant.
According to Glassdoor, the average job offer attracts over 250 applicants. If you've made it to the interview, you've already made a great impression. So now is the time to showcase how you are the best choice for the role. That's why we created How to Win the Interview. This free guide will walk you through the 5 strategies to help you stand out amongst the competition. With just some intentionality, you can prepare yourself to win the interview. Go to kencoleman.com/interview.
What if you could get absolutely confident about who you are and what you want to do with your life in about 18 minutes? Maybe less for some of you. The Get Clear assessment is for you. You're going to get really clear on who you are. You're going to get a report on what you do best. Think of talent. What you love to do. This is passion at work. And what motivates you. Missional results. You get all of that boiled down into a purpose statement that becomes a 30,000-foot view of what a dream job could be for you. Purpose in work and life. And you get so much more. Talent traps, passion pitfalls, and mission missteps, just to name a few. It's a fantastic report. It's only $30. KenColeman.com/assessment. KenColeman.com/assessment. Be a great gift for that graduating high school senior or college senior or just someone who's stuck. Maybe it's a spouse. They just need some awareness, a little nudge to move forward. KenColeman.com/assessment. Let's go to Christina now in San Diego, California. Christina, you're on the Ken Coleman Show.
Hi, Ken. Thank you for taking my call.
Hi, Christina. Good to take your call. What's up?
So I've read your book From Paycheck to Purpose, and I've realized that my current job does not fulfill my mission statement. So my husband and I have been thinking and praying about what it might look like for me to change jobs. However, my concern at this point is that my husband has stage 4 cancer, and we have health insurance through my employer. We've reached our deductible for the year because of all of his treatments so far. And right now we do not have a time frame on when treatments will end. So is now the time to be considering a career change with everything going on? And if so, how can I make this change?
I think now's the time to consider and make some plans. I don't know if now is time to pull the trigger based on this situation. First of all, I'm very, very sorry that you guys are going through this fight. How does it look? What do you know?
Yeah, so so far the treatments are going well. His tumors are shrinking, so we're really thankful for that. And he just started treatments at the start of the year, so we're just starting the battle. But so far it's looking pretty promising. Okay.
Do you know what you want to go into, this different career path?
So based on my mission statement that I came up with, I was kind of thinking, and I've kind of always been thinking about academic advising in higher education specifically. That's always kind of been on my heart and my mind. Okay. So, yeah.
What do you do now?
I am in the staffing industry, and I'm a program manager.
Okay. And are you qualified based on what research you've done to move into academic advising? I'm guessing this is on the higher education level. Is that right?
Yes, that's what I'm kind of looking into. And I believe so. I do have my bachelor's degree and my master's. So, I mean, I'm qualified.
100%.
Yeah, I don't have the experience per se.
That doesn't matter. That doesn't matter.
But yeah.
Okay. So what do you make now? And then what have you learned about those positions in your area as to what they pay? Is it close? Is it an upgrade in pay if you do the advising?
So that's the challenge with this. Currently I'm making $52,000. And actually at the end of last year, I interviewed and got the job for a position, but I actually declined it because of the pay. It was actually quite a hit.
Sure.
I think it was about $10,000 less.
That's what I was wondering. And so,
yeah.
So in that situation, I'm thinking, okay, what is it about the academic advising job that I love? And I want to break that down. And then I want to say, okay, where else can I do that kind of work? Because it's not necessarily always so place specific. To me, it's about function specific. In other words, you've heard me talk about this, I'm assuming, the assessment measures what you do best. That's talent. So you use what you do best to do what you love to produce results that matter to you. So someone who wants to do academic advising, my guess is that you're driven by influencing people or serving people. Is that true or false?
Yes, that's true.
Okay. And my guess is that you're pretty good at communicating and connecting with people, probably somewhat analytical.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep, that's correct.
Oh, wow. I'm doing pretty good so far here.
You're nailing it, yes.
And you're also going to be good at some of those things as well. And so I would have you taken my Get Clear assessment?
You know what? I just did yesterday. And the mission statement that program came up with was almost identical to what I came up with when I was reading through your book. So
here's the thing.
Pretty spot on.
So that's the job description. And I wonder what else is out there besides academic advising that allows you to do all the same thing that academic advising would allow you to do. And it pays more.
Yeah.
Here's where I'm going.
Right.
I just got to believe that when you look at your assessment results and you look at what you're talented at and you look at what you love to do, there are some jobs out there that you could be making six figures plus the healthcare.
Right.
So my answer to your original question is, yes, now's the time to be looking, planning. And if we find the right thing, I mean, with a master's, I'm just telling you, like, I just want you to, here's a homework assignment. I want you to write down, excuse my voice. I want you to write down what you would love about advising students every day. And I don't want you to think of it in terms of academic advice. I want you to just write down the emotional. So I would love sitting with someone, with a student, someone, whatever, and listening to them as they share their goals and dreams and blah, blah, blah. Just write it out, very real. And then I want you to look at that and go, now that combined with my purpose statement in the Get Clear assessment that you just took yesterday, that's what you're looking for.
Okay.
You're not limited to academic advising. Here's what you want to do. You want to advise others. You want to gather information for others. You want to analyze that information for others. You want to make a couple recommendations to others. You want to cheer others on. Does that sound about right?
Yes, exactly.
Well, where else can you do that? It's very interesting to me. You could go so many directions. You could go into HR, make really good money, higher up the ladder as you move up the ladder. You could go into so many different fields of where you are analyzing, advising, communicating, connecting. You could do that. I would just open it up. I would open up the search. I really would. And now you know what you want it to look like. Yeah, because with your degree, background and what you've done so far, you should be making six figures.
Yeah. Yeah, I've just been so stuck, and I
you know why?
Fear, and then now this situation. And
yes. Well, sweetheart, you're going through a lot. I don't even know how you're talking on the phone right now. Just unbelievable what you're going through right now. But I want to tell you this: the reason you've been stuck is because you're scared, and you're scared for your husband's life, number one. But you're also scared about just what could I do, and I think. Going through this exercise I just gave you and you seeing your potential, and I'm telling you, do you believe you could make six figures soon?
I think I need to get there. I think I need to believe that.
Okay, my point is, you don't believe it now because you haven't seen it, but you need to go search out there and see the type of roles that are essentially on paper, just like a college advisor, but it's in a much bigger world, corporate world, make good money and great health benefits. But you stay where you are right now until you find something you can step into and you got the great healthcare benefits, and hopefully your husband is going to pull through. And I'm going to do something I've never done before. I'm going to pray for you and your husband right now. What's your husband's name?
RJ.
Okay. Father God, Christina and RJ need your comfort right now, and we're asking for healing over RJ. I pray that you give him and Christina comfort, and that their best days would be ahead. Thank you, Christina. This is the Ken Coleman Show. Press on.
Thanks for listening to the Ken Coleman Show. For more, you can find the show on demand wherever you listen to podcasts and watch the show on YouTube. You can also find Ken across all social media by following @Ken Coleman.